Chalk. Do you want to let everyone know a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure, I am primarily an artist on DeviantArt. I just reached 11 years strong. I am usually a fan artist most of the time with side projects on occasion.
So today we're talking about art theft and a particular art thief that has actually been harassing our friend Wolf Chalk for a long time. And that obviously does not mean that you should try to find and harass them. We just want to bring attention to this situation because it's gotten very out of hand.
I met Vatre about 2 years ago, right around late 2019. She randomly came out of the blue and began spamming hate comments about how I stole art with many other alts from her on a speed paint I had done considering Lion King about 2014. I decided to check out her account just for the hell of it, and I saw it was full of stolen art from myself and other active Lion King artists, and it's mostly like couple art. Due to her harassment and the art theft, I ended up sending a DMCA, and it turns out it was the one that terminated her account. And like ever since then, she's like been stalking, harassing, and aggressively stealing from me.
Yikes. This sounds like a next level art thief. But when we say art theft, what exactly are we talking about?
Well, whether malicious or not, almost everyone has committed digital art theft in one form or another. That deviant art drawing you copied and used as an icon is technically art theft. Google Images does not pull images from a copyright-free database, but instead from any and all cataloged web pages that can show up on Google search results. But despite how easy it is to find and use unlicensed art online, it's not a victimless crime.
Fletcher impersonated me on Patreon and Instagram several times. Thankfully, reporting them with proof seems to remove the accounts. It made me need to make accounts there to avoid her doing it again. She did it a few times. She did it once or twice on DeviantArt as well.
Can you verify that Vatra has stolen anything from anyone else?
Yeah, she's stolen from other big name people like Kichi and the creator of My Pride. I've seen her say how she works on it and whatnot. Some other people are like Carina, who's like a very big name in the fandom. Most of the stuff she steals is Lion King, and there's like so much of it that it's really hard to name it on one hand. We've been digging around for all the owners so they can contact her. If you move on to another fandom and she really hates you, she'll start snatching from there as well.
Whoa. Wait, how is she getting away with all this? I mean, look at this blatant art theft. She's been obviously stealing artwork of various styles for so long and not even really covering her tracks, even leaving in obvious watermarks. If Vatra even attempted to accept a commission, her entire house of cards would fall. Isn't there some kind of legal action that can be taken?
So we actually reached out to an artist and brand designer, Nella Donato, I hope you're saying her name right, on her blog, and she has an article detailing her experiences with art theft, and I linked it down in the doobly-doo. She actually brings up an interesting angle, and she said, "I know this feels terrible for your friend, and what this thief is doing is definitely unethical, because lying is unethical, but there's a difference between unethical and illegal. Your friend is vulnerable to this because she's producing content that can't be protected by copyright. She doesn't really own her fan art. So that stinks. But even though we can't do anything legally, we can all agree that at the very least, claiming art that isn't yours is an awful thing to do. Just who is this Vatra person anyway?"
Supposedly, she's a 14-year-old girl living in Canada who moved there from Africa. Other sources, however, have said this is a lie. Other accounts we've dug up in word of mouth from other victims, as well as a mole we had watching her for like 7 months, there have been claims of her being 16, 21, and 25. The most recent account says she was born in 1995. Her backstory changes multiple times. She can't keep a story straight. At one time, she mentions just being an orphan. Another, she said she's living with relatives. Another, we're the foster family.
So on she has a bunch of different alt accounts on YouTube, DeviantArt, Twitter, maybe Ink Bunny. I know she has at least one account on Ink Bunny. But on one of her YouTube accounts, she does have some vlog style videos, and she does sound very young. So I want to stress again, we're not trying to harass, we're not encouraging anyone to harass her. For stealing art, we just want to bring attention to the situation so more people are aware, and hopefully she gets less attention for stealing art. Maybe we can just ignore her. Because she does sound young, and we don't want to bully children or harass children. But, that being said, old enough to know that what she's doing is inappropriate. She is being very aggressive. We have several screenshots of her cursing at people, threatening people, being overall aggressive, even going as so far as claiming that the people that she stole from are stealing her art.
Yeah, I feel like it's way too, like, deep a web to really just be, like, an innocent mistake. Like, I think 3 fake accounts would already be too in-depth to really say you didn't realize what you were doing was wrong.
Okay, so in addition to all of her various alt accounts, she also changes, from my understanding, she changes her username a lot. Is that right, Wolfchalk? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
She changed her username a lot. I'm not sure what inspires it, whether it's because she knows people are watching her, because I think if you change your name on Twitter, they can't find you again. I know at one point she actually changed her Twitter to Wolfchalk, and that's why I made a Twitter, because I was not taking that laying down. But
Yeah.
she changes her name a lot. It's weird.
So, with that being said, just be vigilant, I guess. She might not always go by Vatre or any of the other various usernames that she has previously used.
Yeah, and that's, like, another thing, too. Like, she, with these alternate accounts, will, like, stage conversations with herself, but also, like, potentially to, like, infiltrate people she wants to steal from, right?
Yeah.
There's even a clip I found on, and maybe we can put a screenshot of this in the video, because it doesn't show any personal information in the clip, but on one of her alternate accounts on YouTube, she is screen recording her phone, and she pulls down her notifications, I think on accident, but she pulls down her notifications, and you can just see like 10 Gmail accounts asking for like an update or something. But it's like a bunch of different email accounts, which is like, I don't want to say insane or crazy in like a mental health way, but just like so bizarre, beyond bizarre, that it's like it's premeditated. She knows what she's doing.
So let's talk about, so you mentioned like different accounts that she's been impersonating you on. So as far as like the bogus Patreon and stuff, do you know if they've ever earned any money from it?
As far as I know, I'm not very sure. I've seen her advertise commissions before on Twitter, and I've seen alt accounts and perhaps supposed supporters spread information further about this.
It's so I wonder if she can draw, because the idea of like soliciting commissions is so weird if you're an art thief.
I wonder how that works. I really wish like we had been able to contact her, because here's the other thing: anytime anyone tries to follow her, all of her Twitter's all of her Twitter accounts are private, and anytime anyone requests to follow her, she assumes it's somebody that Wolfchalk sent after her, which is a fair assumption, I guess. And so she blocks right away. But if we had been able to contact her, I would be very interested in seeing what she would do when you commissioned.
Yeah. Because, like, it's within the fandom. So, like, hopefully victims have made content that sort of falls in line with the commission. But, like, if someone wants alteration, also if she's...
Or like an OC? Or...
Yeah, an OC would be tough. Like, I assume would be impossible. Maybe tracing or something. But, yeah, I have no idea how she would, like, deal with that. I guess let's pivot a little bit. Has, like, Vatre stealing from you affected you in your personal life in any way?
It's mostly made me uncomfortable since you never really know how far someone like her might go. Like, if she knew my personal information, she'd probably make my life very hard.
Yeah.
Since she found out the information of the person who's been talking to her, and she's been spreading that name around. She also made a few, really claims about me because she seems to think I'm in love with her for whatever reason, and that's why I'm so focused on stopping her bullying. I don't know where that came from.
That is an interesting point you bring up about the whole claiming to be in love with thing, because one of the screenshots for the fake Patreon, one of them is, like, posing as you, saying Wolf Chalk is creating plans to help stop Vatre.
Oh.
And
which leads to another interesting thing that she has done, which is created one of her alt YouTube accounts is posing as someone who is not Wolf Chalk, someone else, fictional person, who hates her, Vatre, and is, like, bullying Vatre, but it's one of her alt accounts. You can tell by the way she types and the way she has interactions with people. It's very strange.
it is weird because, like, I don't know. It's such a weird narrative they're making, like, people, like, they're making themselves the villain of their own story sometimes, but, like, I mean, does that hurt or help their cause?
There's also a screenshot where they confess to having, like, no friends in in some kind of YouTube from your chat.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a screenshot somewhere, so I'm not sure where that confession came from because she was usually very adamant against it.
Mm-hmm.
I also have assumptions I might have run into her even earlier than 2019, where I was hosting a multi-animated video project with Kyan Fooley, and this girl, I think Shayna Gray, because I've heard people say Vatre will go by that username as well, came on there with a stolen animation. And when I found out, I confronted her and told her she can't be in the edit. And it went quiet for a long time, but I always assumed that might have been Vatre because there was also a screenshot where she saw that comment and remarked on it.
Oh. Ugh.
There's also the fact where she might say she's 14, but she'll steal art that's literally older than her. Because my DeviantArt is 11 years versus her 14 years. So stuff she's stealing would have made her 2 years old at the time. So that's why I'm not very sure what her age is.
That does make...
So it's very debatable how old she really is. But if she is supposedly 14, I don't encourage people to harass her. I just want people to be wary of her and be able to avoid her because she gets very obsessive.
Yeah, that's... So I guess let's talk about any of your countermeasures to stop Vatre. Like different methods or people helping you or anything like that.
At first, when I was on DeviantArt, this was around the time Eclipse finally came in, they offered watcher-only galleries. So I started using those, but it turns out she would send her alt accounts. A few people did turn out to be real people, and we've talked to them. And when they found out, they were, obviously very distraught about it. She would send these people to steal the artwork, pretend watch, so I was blocking a ton of people, and it got to the point where I just couldn't figure out who was a real person or not.
Yeah.
So I ended up giving up on that. And then I tried very, very obnoxious watermarks like you would see when you're looking up stock images. And she somehow, I don't know how she does it, she edits them out to the point where it's surprising there were even watermarks to begin with.
Which is interesting that she had
And then-
those editing skills, because there's other artwork that she's stolen that she doesn't... It looks like she doesn't even try to edit out the watermarks, and she just puts something over it, but you can still see your watermark behind it.
I definitely don't think she's concerned with the watermark. I think, like, you know, because, like, we'll put a reference of the type of watermarks that Wolf Chalk is talking about here. But, like, I think she definitely just wants it to be, like, a usable picture in a way. So she just needed to, like, either trace or whatever to get to that point.
What's very strange is that I've had, like, conversations on DeviantArt pieces, and she'll copy those, like, the dialogue with another person and put it on her Twitter. It's, like, word for word, just, you know, swapping the names out.
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, it's really, like, just, this whole thing is, like, just disheartening to hear. Like, her, especially, I think it's how brazen Vatre is, because they don't, like, it doesn't matter what they're not concerned with anything that you do. They're fine just, oh no, I did it first, even though, like, it's, like, you can get a paper trail of what happened first and after, but they don't care about that.
A final countermeasure I did was, she was mostly laser focused on my Lion King stuff, so I decided to put it all on Patreon. Just Lion King entirely was on Patreon, because either that or quitting. And even then, the Lion King fandom has a very bad history of art theft.
Yeah.
And after a while, I've seen lots of people move on from that because of that. But with Vatre, it's just worse. Well, I don't know how she did it. Somehow she got higher quality images of the Patreon pictures, because I would post previews on my DeviantArt, but I'd put a giant orange Patreon over it. But somehow she's gotten images without the blur filter, without the Patreon icon, and that was kind of like the last straw, and I kind of decided there's no real way to stop her. I don't know how she got those images, because they were only shared on Patreon and with very, very close friends who were very aware of Vatre and would never send that to her.
So do you think that maybe there was a patron of yours that was, like, her spy, maybe?
I only got one, and
Okay.
she's a friend of mine who has helped. I don't know if it notifies you every time you get a Patreon, but I only have one. I'm living off $8.
Yeah. Then, I guess, so, like, you said you stepped away from, like, the Lion King fandom entirely. At any point, has this, like, made you want to stop doing art entirely? Or...
It made me stop for a little bit, just because she was stalking so much and sending so many death threats and alt accounts after me. So it got very annoying and discouraging to go online. What's really annoying is I'll try to, like, move on to different fandoms, hoping it'll detour her, but she'll just, you know, follow me there and take whatever that is now.
Yeah. Oof. I guess, like, you don't know her personally, but do you, why do you think Vatre does what she does?
I'm not sure at all, honestly. I've really tried coming to conclusions with her obsession with me, and like I said, we had someone actually posing as a friend of hers for a very long, for like almost a year, talking to her for more personal information, just of who she was and why she's doing whatever she's doing. And she's never given an answer about it. It's just, I'm the big boogeyman, and she's gonna just keep doing what she's doing. Personally, if I had to come up with a reason, I think she's probably either very unhappy in her real life and is taking out on other people and posing with alt accounts to make herself seem loved and whatnot, considering that one chat log I mentioned on YouTube.
Yeah.
Another thing I think is either she might be a very dedicated troll, but then again, this is a very long time just to troll somebody.
Right.
And a lot of people have started stepping forward as victims of her, and they mention different dates entirely when they encounter her and whatnot. This rabbit hole has gone deeper than I thought it should, but it's very, very deep.
So if you had a chance to talk to Vatre, their undivided attention, what would you want to say to them?
I'd tell her to leave myself and others alone. She could learn to draw because there's still time to redeem herself if she is as young as she claims to be. I wouldn't personally forgive her. After all she's done to abuse me and the people I care about. I really hope she sees the videos and what people are saying and realize she can be better than this and mend what she's done. And considering the long list of victims that she has, since I've been spreading awareness about her, you really need to consider how you treat people if you want to make the friends you keep saying you really want to have.
Right.
So, and I'm curious, because I think you mentioned this before we started recording. You said that you offered to give them art lessons, right?
Yeah, I did around the time she first started this stuff. And she obviously bit that hand and kept screaming art thief at me.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to do to someone who's offering you art lessons.
Yeah, I mean, because like, they clearly do have some sort of artistic ability, like we've talked about, because, like, you know, they can edit around watermarks and do, like, whatever. Like, they have some sort of aptitude for art, and they seem to at least want people to believe that they're artistic in some way or another.
Right.
So that's really weird. They had an opportunity for like, it's a trash way to meet someone, but, like, they could have actually had a friendship with you. That could have been, like, something actually nice for them, but
yeah, what's very strange is I don't really understand what her angle and personality is, because my friend who talked to her, she talks completely normal, like just a normal person. She talks about her day, talks about what she likes and stuff like that. And then out in public, when dealing with me or other people she hates, it'll be caps lock and really weird dialogue. It's bizarre.
yeah. Well,
So I don't know who the true Vatre is. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
yeah. I guess to wrap up, what do you want people listening to know about Vatre?
Stay away from her. She is potentially dangerous, in my honest opinion. She's threatened to dox people, including my friend, and laser focuses on anyone who dare step forward to talk about her or report her for her theft and harassment. She'll stalk you obsessively. Basically, you don't want that. It's very uncomfortable. I know from experience. Spread awareness of her, however, so that way other people don't fall victim like this. The more people who know about her, they'll be able to stay away from her, identify who she is, and just steer clear. Don't interact.
Yeah.
So I just want to reiterate again, on top of what Wolfchalk said, don't go and harass her. Don't try to find her and harass her. If she happens to comment on this video or any other videos you might see about this story, don't respond to her comments, because that's just going to fuel the flame, and we don't need that.
Yeah.
The best solution in this case is to just ignore it. Ignore the inappropriate bad behavior, and then it won't be maintained by attention.
Yeah, we're trying to just, this isn't like a super cancel exposed video. This is just like really just trying to let people know to be on the lookout. There are lots of art victims. We just personally know Wolfchalk and have been like following this happening for a long time, and we just wanted to help. But to bring it around to like what you guys can do. First and foremost, you can support the real Wolf Chalk. We'll have her links below, and only those links. Do you want to tell them what that'll be?
I have an Instagram, a Tumblr, Twitter. I think I have a Patreon and YouTube as well.
Cool. So support the real Wolf Chalk and the real Wolf Chalk only by following those links. Second thing, we would love it if you could just share this video as much as possible. We're honestly just hoping that a larger YouTuber can catch wind of this, and hopefully it can blow up enough that Vatre can stop harassing and plagiarizing, or at least more people can be hyper aware of Vatre and her many, many altars. Oh yeah, and if you have any relevant information, you can contact us in the Discord server directly, but do not contact Vatre at all. Leave them alone. And I think that's anything else.
No.
Okay.
Not that I could think of.
Okay, just checking. Okay, but thank you guys so much for listening. Please share this as much as possible, and remember to comment, like, and subscribe because we all need friends. Okay, bye.
Bye.